Welcome to day 2 of our NFL draft coverage here on Steelers Talk. We're going to kick you off with some awesome QB rumors that have been floating around surrounding the Pittsburgh Steelers. And then also, I have my day 2 Steelers mock draft. There's a report that the Steelers might have given Aaron Rodgers a deadline, and that deadline has already passed. And does that mean that Kirk Cousins could be traded to the Pittsburgh Steelers in the coming days? Before we get into the content today, we will be going live once again today, 7:15 p.m. Eastern Time. Once again, we're going to be giving away a Steelers jersey and a Steelers draft hat. We're going to have a lot of fun festivities all throughout the evening, and we're going to be breaking down every single pick of the 2025 NFL Draft for you guys on this channel. So make sure you guys click that subscribe button to never miss a moment. Last night was absolutely awesome. We were live for all 32 picks, and of course, Derrick Harmon ended up being the selection for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I put out my reaction to that pick out last night. If you want to check that out, it's on the channel. So let's get into the rumors here, where Josina Anderson claims that the Pittsburgh Steelers told Aaron Rodgers that they wanted him to decide whether or not he wanted to play for the team 48 hours before the NFL draft, and Rodgers did not get back to them, indicating that a decision's not going to be coming here, and the Steelers may potentially be moving on. This is the tweet from Josina last night. She says, "I'm told the Steelers communicated with Aaron Rodgers at the beginning of the week that they would like to receive an answer from him before the draft, at least 48 hours per league source. Steelers know the outcome of that conversation, ... Now, to be clear, this could easily be false. There's a ton of false reporting on this entire saga all throughout. This kind of saga that we have kind of gone through here, people speculating that he might be waiting for Minnesota or what have you. That's just that was untrue. The money aspect of the reporting was untrue on Aaron Rodgers. So this is very possible that this report from Josina Anderson, who, by the way, hasn't been the best reporter in the world here over the last several weeks, especially when it comes to the Aaron Rodgers saga, and it is openly somebody that wants the Steelers to move on from Rodgers, by the way, is saying this. But if this report is true, if the Steelers did go to Rodgers this week and say, we need a decision 48 hours before the NFL draft, and then Rodgers did not get back to them, could Pittsburgh officially be done with pursuing Aaron Rodgers during the NFL offseason? I certainly think that is possible. And you might be saying, but Jack, they passed on a quarterback last night. They have to still be in on Aaron Rodgers, right? Well, it's definitely possible, like I said, that they are still in on Aaron Rodgers signing with the football team. And like I said, that report from Josina could absolutely be false. But, I still expect Pittsburgh to draft a quarterback during the NFL draft this year. It's clear that they want to get a value pick at the position in the middle rounds. And there's a pretty decent chance here, guys, that you might be looking at Shedeur Sanders, Jalen Milroe, or Tyler Shough when you get to your pick at number 83 overall in round 3 later this evening. Also, Kyle McCord out of Syracuse is somebody that I've heard has had some really good meetings with the Pittsburgh Steelers and feels like they may take him in round 3. Will Howard has also been somebody that's been heavily linked to the Pittsburgh Steelers, and then the Steelers have done their due diligence on Quinn Ewers as well. So these are 6 quarterbacks that I think, they're going to have their kind of evaluation and their grade on these guys, and whenever they feel like it's the right time to pull the trigger and get value at the quarterback position, I do think the Steelers will take one of these 6 players by the end of the NFL draft. Then another thing here is that, maybe it is true that Aaron Rodgers is, the deadline has passed with the Steelers and the Steelers are done pursuing Aaron Rodgers, and the veteran quarterback they're actually targeting now is Kirk Cousins from the Atlanta Falcons, and could a trade with the Falcons potentially already be in the works for the Pittsburgh Steelers to land Kirk Cousins. And, I think that the longer this Rodgers saga continues to drag on, guys, the higher the odds get that Kirk Cousins is going to be the starting quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers in 2025. Now, I don't think the Steelers will actually send a draft pick to Atlanta in this year's draft class. I think that what they're going to do is they're going to send a 2026 conditional pick to the Falcons, something similar to the Justin Fields trade last year, where they traded a conditional 6th for Fields to the Chicago Bears that could have turned into a 4th if he played more than half of the offensive snaps for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Of course, that ended up being a 6th-round pick because Fields did not play more than half of those snaps. I think that this is a move that the Steelers could do. You get an experienced starting quarterback coming off his 2nd year off an Achilles tear. Hopefully the arm strength can come back a little bit more for him. But let me know what you guys think down there in the comment section. Would you accept this trade if you were the Pittsburgh Steelers? A conditional 6th that can turn into a 4th for Kirk Cousins. Type A for accept or D for decline. This will be the pinned comment on today's show. So in just a moment here, I'm going to tell you about our sponsor today at Prize Picks. And while I'm talking about Prize Picks, let me know if you would trade a conditional 6 to bring Captain Kirk to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, before we get to the rest of today's video, let's have a word from our sponsor here at Prize Picks, which is the best place to turn your sports knowledge into cash. With millions of members, Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. And you just pick more than or less than on at least 2 player stat projections for a shot to win up to 2,000 times your cash. Run your game all season long on Prize Picks, and you can also turn your playoff hot takes into tickets to basketball's championship series. Every lineup you make on Prize Picks will enter you in the Takes-Two ticket sweepstakes, which could get you and a +1 a VIP trip to the championship series for basketball. Sign up today and get $50 instantly when you play just $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks also offers weekly promotions that can lead to big payouts like Taco Tuesday, where every Tuesday, Prize Picks discounts select player projections up to 25% to provide even more value for your lineups. You guys can see here a Prize Picks projection for the upcoming NFL season with the totals. I'm taking the less on Lamar Jackson passing yards because F them Ratbirds. We got the more on DK Metcalf receiving yards. I'm taking the more on receiving yards for George Pickens as well because I do believe he will remain a Pittsburgh Steeler for at least one more season. So download the app today. Use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, run your game. All right, now let's get into my day 2 mock draft for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Of course, you take Derrick Harmon, defensive tackle out of Oregon in round 1. So what are the Steelers going to be looking to do here, starting with their round 3 selection at number 83 overall? Well, I think if they can get a quarterback that they find as a value, I think that they will take that quarterback, whether that's Shedeur, whether that's Tyler Shough. But I actually think the quarterback that might have the best chance of falling to the Steelers is actually Jalen Milroe out of Alabama, who I actually think the Steelers are targeting here on day 2. I actually wouldn't be shocked if the Steelers felt like they wanted to trade up a couple of spots in round 3 if they felt like they wanted to jump another team that they felt might go get Jalen Milroe. And in my opinion, I think Milroe would be an absolute steal in round 3. You guys know, if you've been watching this channel, that I kind of thought the Steelers were going to potentially pull the trigger on Jalen Milroe on night 1. And if you can get him in round 3, I think that is something that is an absolute steal. I think Shedeur Sanders could potentially go to the Cleveland Browns early in round 2. I think Tyler Shough could go early in round 2 to the New Orleans Saints. And then after that, I just don't see a whole lot of teams out there that would be willing to spend a day 2 draft pick on a developmental quarterback like Jalen Milroe. You take a look at my scouting report on Milroe. He's got incredible upside, guys. He's a special runner of the football and long speed, 4.4 speed with really good size. He's got an incredible jump cut ability, incredible acceleration to hit home runs as a rusher. He's got really, really good arm strength and has some really impressive downfield throws on his film, and he's also a high character guy. So even though he has some downsides and some red flags, and he is a risky prospect and he is pretty raw, he's got inconsistent accuracy to all levels of the field. His touch passing is really non-existent, kind of similar to Justin Fields in that regard. And then he needs to work on his mental processing, his timing, those sort of things. But, you know, there's other quarterbacks that have kind of been in this category of raw, kind of project-type quarterbacks that have even gone in round 1. Guys like Josh Allen, guys like Lamar Jackson, guys that had really high upside but were really raw coming into the league that needed a couple years to develop before they became the quarterbacks that we know them to be today. And I think Jalen Milroe, especially in a round 3 pick, I think especially to the Steelers where they have a situation where they're probably going to have a veteran starting quarterback that he can sit behind and learn from. I can't think of a better situation for Jalen Milroe than the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I actually don't think it's impossible he ends up wearing a Steelers draft hat by the end of this evening. Then in round 4, at the start of day 3 of the NFL draft, I'm going to take a running back out of UCF, R.J. Harvey, and I love Harvey's game from the Golden Knights. He is a little bit smaller, but he's got excellent long speed. Ran a 4.4 at the combine this year. He's got really oily hips, incredibly quick feet, and really good instincts as a rusher. I think he has a chance to be a legit star running back in this league that you're getting in round 4 and be one of the steals at the running back position in this class. He also has excellent patience, and if Steelers fans know very well, Le'Veon Bell was somebody that had world-class patience. That's something that I see that's a similar trait in R.J. Harvey's game, where he lets his blocks develop in front of him. He sees things develop really, really, really well. I think he's got good vision. And then you pair that with the athleticism that he brings to the table. He may be undersized, but I think he's relatively well built. He does have an ability to have some contact balance and bounce off of tacklers. He was absolutely fantastic for UCF over the last several years, and I think that if you pair him up with Jalen Warren, you're getting a big playmaker there with that 4.4 speed. He's got really great acceleration, all of that stuff that you're looking for in that complementary running back piece to pair with Jalen Warren in this Steelers backfield. Then in round 5, I took him in my final mock draft. That went out earlier this week. I'm going to take him again here in round 5. Jalen Reed, safety out of Penn State. Just reminds me so much of Juan Thornhill. And, Juan is here on a 1-year contract. He's getting older. If you like that type of player and you want to have kind of like that third safety for your bandit packages long term, I think Jalen Reed, who needs a little bit more development, but he's over 210 pounds and ran in the 4.4s at the combine. This guy is an athletic freak, and I think that he plays very aggressively. He's a ball hawk. He goes after interceptions, and he's very aggressive, and that's something that Mike Tomlin really likes. Right now, the consensus big board expects him to be around this range, and I would love this pick for the Pittsburgh Steelers here in round 5. Then in round 6, I'm going to take a cornerback here with inside and outside versatility, team captain for the Minnesota Golden Gophers, Justin Wally. So great culture guy. He's going to be able to play inside or outside. He reminds me a little bit of Beanie Bishop Jr. in terms of his playmaking ability. He's got a nose for the football like Beanie does, but unlike Beanie, he's actually got a better size profile than just being absolutely tiny like Beanie Bishop Jr. is. So I think Wally has a chance to be your starting day one nickel cornerback, and then he's got some outside versatility as well, so he's got an ability to maybe earn a chance to be a long-term starter on the outside once Darius Slay retires after this season. So in round 6, I think this is an absolute steal for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Wally's been a very fast riser over the last week or so, and I really think his tape's a lot of fun. I think Steelers fans would really love him. Then in round 7, I'll take a wide receiver to add some depth to the wide receiver room this year. Jordan Watkins. I took this guy in my final mock draft for the Pittsburgh Steelers earlier this week as well. But I love his inside-outside versatility. I love his big play ability. He's got really good long speed. And I think that he's a decent route runner with decent hands. And, that 5-touchdown game against Arkansas last year speaks for itself. All right, this guy, I think, has a chance to carve out a role for himself in the Steelers offense. And I think that he could be one of the best sleeper wide receivers in this entire class. All right, guys, that's my day 2 mock haul. Jalen Milroe falls to the Steelers in round 3, or at least I hope he does. R.J. Harvey falls to the Steelers in round 4. Then you get Jalen Reed, Justin Wally, and Jordan Watkins on to fill out the rest of this mock. Grade my day 2 mock draft down there in the comment section. Give me an A, a B, a C, a D, or an F. And until later today, guys, we are going to be going live at 7:15 p.m. Eastern Time. We're going to be breaking down every single pick of both round 2 and round 3. Of course, we'll have our grades video at the end of the day as well. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to be doing giveaways, all that great stuff. Really do appreciate your guys' continued support throughout the NFL draft here on Steelers Talk. And until next time, guys, here we go, Steelers.